Hello everyone, Alaska Prepper here. It's time for your wake-up call. Sorry I didn't do a wake-up call Monday morning, but I was running a little bit late and there wasn't really any sights to show you guys on my way to work because it was too dark. So tomorrow morning for the wake-up call, I'm going to go ahead and review the Patriot Pantry maple brown sugar oatmeal. Okay, so I'm going to review that in the morning before I go to work. And then, depending on how things go, tomorrow evening, I'll probably go ahead and do the review on the rice, the chicken and rice. And then maybe I'll post that for the wake up call on Wednesday morning. Okay, so we'll see how things go. I probably got my days all messed up, but I'm going to go ahead and do the oatmeal for Wednesday morning, and then maybe I'll do the rice for Wednesday night or for Thursday morning. There you go. I think I got my days right now. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to go ahead and read this quick article and see what you guys think about it. See how you guys, what you guys think about your tax dollars being at work here. Okay, so let's get to it. IRS agents indulges in bizarre fetish in taxpayer's home. And this is a case that's going all the way back to 2006. So on June 8, 2006, more than a decade ago, armed agents from the IRS arrived at the home of Michael and Shelley Lone of Atwater, California. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? Armed agents broke into these guys' home because they owed some taxes or allegedly owed taxes. Okay, so Michael Lone was suspected of tax fraud, and the IRS agents were there to conduct a search of the premises and look for evidence. About 30 minutes into the search, Shelley Lone, the wife, who was not a suspect and they're not of any crime whatsoever, so she wasn't a suspect of any crime whatsoever, told the agents who were ransacking her bedroom that she needed to use the bathroom. According to court documents, one of the IRS agents escorted Shelley to the bathroom, then came inside with her. Shelley protested and asked the agent to wait outside. The agent refused, stating that she needed to make sure Shelley was not hiding any evidence. And ladies and gentlemen, you have to think about what's going through these public servants' minds. All right? Well, if public servants would just think, how would I like to be treated in a circumstance like this? You know, how would I like to be treated if it were me that was on the other side? Okay? Bear in mind, Shelley wasn't suspected of a crime, but an agent from the IRS stood there and watched this innocent woman urinate and defecate in her own toilet in her own home, without so much as turning her head slightly or even pretending to avert her eyes. This is truly disgusting on so many different levels. In most civilized countries, tax problems aren't even a criminal matter. They're civil, sorted out administratively rather than at gunpoint. And armed government thugs certainly aren't able to abuse power to this extreme, indulging in their weird fetishes to watch innocent women defecate in their own homes. But what's probably the craziest part of this entire story is that when Shelley Lone sued for obvious reasons, the federal government mounted an aggressive and spirited defense of its actions. It's appalling. They literally tried to justify this ritualistic degradation of an innocent human being's most basic dignity by calling it standard procedure. Really, it's standard procedure for agents of the IRS to watch people crap in their own toilets. Do you get extra benefits for that? Another interesting fact here is that when Michael Lone requested to use the restroom, the guy who was actually suspected of a tax crime, no IRS agent accompanied him. Bear in mind, we're talking about the Internal Revenue Service. This isn't Jack Bauer saving the world from nuclear-armed terrorists. No, this level of abuse and brutality is justified because of a dispute over taxes. Now that's that's how desperate the government wants its money, and that's right, ladies and gentlemen. The government wants its money. And I do not advocate trying to get out of paying your taxes. No matter how much I know that taxes in the way that we are paying them now is unconstitutional. No matter how much anyone may know, and anyone can prove it by reading the law, that taxes are unconstitutional in the way that they are mandated in the days that we live. All right? I would never say don't pay your taxes. I always pay my taxes. Why? Because I don't want to spend my life in a little box because I didn't want to conform to these radical and crazy rules that these unelected officials put above our heads. Because the IRS are unelected officials. You have people breaking into other people's homes to collect money that they earned, all right? And they weren't even elected by the people that they're taking the money from. That's how messed up this system is with the IRS. In my opinion, the IRS is one of those agencies that needs to be disbanded immediately. Oh, but who would make sure that there's no tax cheats? Stop collecting taxes. It's not constitutional. I'm sure you all have heard about the two states that never ratified the law about, or when they did the Constitution amendment. I think it was 16. I think it's amendment number 16 that it wasn't justly ratified. Before they passed it into law, it was not ratified by all the states. But I guess that's a conspiracy theory. It must be because we're all paying taxes. All right, enough of that. Now, as you can imagine, the wheels of justice grind very, very slowly, especially when it's the government for an agent of the government being sued. Shelley loan was violated back in 2006, but the case was only recently settled last week. So 12 years, ladies and gentlemen. And I give props to Ms. Loan for, staying with the fight and not giving up. Seriously, how pathetic. It took more than a decade to get this far because the government kept fighting. When the loans filed suit, the government fought tooth and nail to keep it out of court and throw out most of the charges. Then the government claimed the IRS agents couldn't be sued due to qualified immunity. Oh, because the IRS agents, they're superior to us serfs, right? These, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to be sarcastic or I'm not trying to be an ass. It's that when I read stories like this, and this is why I wanted to read this story to you all, because this is ridiculous. These IRS agents, these government employees, they work for us. And then they end up getting away with treating us like crap because they know that the tax dollars that we pay will be the same tax dollars that will be used to defend them in court. Okay, carrying on. Then the government claimed that the IRS agents couldn't be sued due to qualified immunity, which protects federal employees from lawsuits that may arise from the performance of their duties. In 2016, it finally went to court, and a U.S. federal judge ruled that the IRS agents could not be protected by qualified immunity since they were clearly violating basic standards of decency. But the government refused to accept that outcome and appealed the decision. Finally, just last week, a federal appeals court affirmed the original court's ruling, concluding that the IRS agents completely violated Shelley's clearly established right to bodily privacy and were hence not entitled to qualified immunity. And were hence not entitled to qualified immunity. That's a major blow to the IRS, but this issue is still not resolved. The only thing that's been settled is that the agents aren't entitled to qualified immunity. So now Shelley has to sue again on the original charge of being violated 12 years ago. Sadly, it will probably take a few more years for this case to ultimately be resolved, if ever. And it shows the lengths to which the government will protect its own, regardless of how egregious and vile the behavior of its agents. And that's a pretty sad story that I just read to you, ladies and gentlemen. But like I was saying, it's ridiculous how the government has gotten so big that it uses our wealth. We we fund our own slavery. Believe it or not, we fund our own demise. I mean, think about how crazy that is. These people have been fighting the government for over 10 years, and the government has been using the taxpayer dollars that go into their coffers to fight this lady in court, even though the government is the one that did wrong. Okay? That's how sad the state of affairs is here in this nation. And that's only one small thing. This is nothing compared to all of the other things that are going on. So I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's just it seems like everything is against the people here. And I was having a discussion with a very nice young man the other day that I met at the Oktoberfest that I went to, and we were talking about about he's kind of a leftist, right? I could tell that he's kind of like leaning towards the left. Very nice guy though. We talked for like an hour and a half, and I'm glad that I got to talk to him. So his name was Matt, but I'm glad that I got to talk to him, and I could tell that he leans left a little bit. So here he's saying that he believes that in the U.S. that we ought to have a mandatory, you have to go and join the military, mandatory for at least 2 years. And I'm like, how would that work? Isn't that an oxymoron? Supposedly the freest nation in the world telling its citizens that they have no choice, that they have to join the military when they turn a certain age. How is that saying that we're the freest nation in the world if we're making citizens do what they don't want to do? Because we have an all-volunteer army or an all-volunteer armed forces, right? How is it that we can say we're the freest nation in the world if we make people join the military? Now, some people may say, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Well, they may think that's a good idea because, it hasn't happened yet, okay? But taking someone and making them join the military, someone who's really opposed to joining the military, is really bad in a lot of ways. First of all, you're going to make an enemy out of that person that you're making join the military, and you're not going to get quality service from them. You're not going to get quality work from a person like that, okay? And they're just going to be against you the whole time. Why would you want to demoralize the force by doing something like that? And if we're supposed to be the freest nation in the world, then why is it that you would want people to be forced to join the military? But, for being the freest nation in the world, man, we've got a long way to go. And I do believe that we are if not one of the freest nations in the world. Okay? Because I'm right here, right now, talking to you all right? And I'm pretty much telling you guys a negative story about our government. And I have no fears that the government's going to come over here and knock my door out, knock my door down and lay me down on the floor just because I am talking negatively about one of the branches. Well, I mean, I don't even know if I can call the IRS a branch of government because they're not. They're not elected. But one of the agencies of the government. Here I'm talking negative about something that they did that was negative, and I'm not afraid that someone's going to knock my door down and come and get me just because of that. So we are very, very free in some aspects, and in some aspects we're not. But it just makes me wonder, what's going to happen. We do live in very interesting times. And I hope that I'm alive long enough to see what the outcome is going to be of this great experiment that was started back in the late 1700s. So, but we'll see, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what happens. And as far as this story goes, the IRS, they should be ashamed of themselves. If you make a mistake, that's okay. If one of your agents makes a mistake, that's okay. Say, hey, we made a mistake. Let's go ahead and make these people whole because it was our fault. But they can't even do that, I guess. And the reason they won't do that is because, like I said, they have unlimited resources. They have us. They have us to fund them so that they can do whatever they want to do. And if they don't get away with it, they can at least use our money to fight in court for as long as they need to. Hence, these guys are going on, 12, 13 years now, fighting the same battle. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, I think I took this one a little farther than I wanted to. Having said that, I hope that you guys have a good day today. All right, this has been your wake-up call. So remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place. And you know that it will be a better place. I hope that you all have a good day today. Like I told you all, for tomorrow morning, I'm going to go ahead and do a review of the maple oatmeal from the Patriot Pantry. Okay, so stand by for that one. I'm actually pretty excited. I'm wondering if it's going to be, good, because maple oatmeal is my favorite oatmeal. So we'll see what happens. But as someone posted on the comments the other day, they said you can't really mess up oatmeal. So, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. All right. Many blessings to all of you and your families, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alaska Prepper, and I'm out.